Happy holidays, and welcome back to Billy's VHS Tapes. Today we're reviewing 1994's The Santa Claus, a Christmas classic from good old Disney. Let's do some fun facts. The movie was directed by John Pasquin and was written by Leo Benvenuti and Steve Rudnick. The movie stars Tim Allen, Eric Lloyd, Wendy Crewson, Judge Reinhold, and David Krumholtz. And the Santa that falls off the roof was played by Tim Allen's stunt double, Steve Lushu. At the time of the film's release, Tim Allen was a household name thanks to the hit sitcom Home Improvement. The show was so popular that producers considered casting Patricia Richardson, who played Tim's wife Jill on Home Improvement, as his ex-wife in The Santa Claus. I think they realized that casting her as the ex-wife would confuse audiences who watch Home Improvement, especially when they saw them back together the next week when they watched the show. The movie was filmed on sound stages in Hollywood, and on location in the Greater Toronto area. The reindeer were actually provided by the Toronto Zoo, and famous voice actor Frank Welker provided the growls and groans for Comet. Frank is most well known for voicing Fred and Scooby-Doo, but if you check his IMDb page, you'll see that he's voiced nearly 1,000 different characters. The movie spawned 2 sequels, and a TV show on Disney+. The Santa Claus also kicked off Tim Allen's Disney career. The following year, he would go on to provide the voice for Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story. And after that, he starred in Jungle to Jungle, The Shaggy Dog, and Wild Hogs. Tim Allen has done so many projects with Disney that in 1999, he earned the Disney Legends Award for his many contributions. The movie cost $22 million to make, and it brought in over $190 million at the box office. And the movie received mixed reviews from critics. But it's since become a Christmas classic, and I find myself popping it in every year around the holiday time. So without further ado, let's watch it!
And now, our feature presentation.
The movie opens at an office Christmas party, where we're introduced to our main character, Scott Calvin. Scott is very successful at marketing toys and well liked by all of his coworkers, but his family is a little indifferent about him. As the opening credits roll, we see Scott make his way home, and we learn that he's kind of a shithead. Scott is running late to spend Christmas Eve with his young son Charlie, and we see him lie about being stuck in traffic as he speeds down the highway. As Scott pulls up, we see his ex-wife Laura and her new husband Neil waiting with Charlie outside of his house. Inside the house, we see that Scott really isn't that into Christmas, and we find out that him and Charlie don't see each other very often. Uh-oh. And like most exes, Scott really doesn't get along with his ex-wife, but they try to keep it cool in front of Charlie. Laura is spending Christmas at Neil's mother's house, and just before she leaves, she gives Scott her phone number just in case he needs to reach her.
1-800-SPANK-ME. I know that number.
Extra fun fact, this scene was removed from the DVD and Blu-ray release and cannot be found on Disney+. Probably because a kid called the number and then his mother called into Disney to complain. Which means you can only find it on VHS. Or YouTube, just Google it. After Laura leaves, we see Scott ruin Christmas dinner.
It's done.
But don't worry, Denny's is always open.
What's up? What's up, Denny's?
This is nice.
Later that night, as the boys are all snug in their beds, Charlie hears a clatter on the roof.
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
And when Scott hears the noise himself, he runs outside to find out who's on his roof.
What the f***?
Scott is stunned when he sees a man dressed in red and 8 tiny reindeer up on his roof. And when Scott hollers to get the man's attention, he accidentally spooks him, causing him to fall off the roof.
You killed him!
Did not.
It's true! I saw the whole thing!
When the guy shows no signs of life, Scott begins to loot the corpse. He finds a business card that tells him to put on the suit, and the reindeer will know what to do.
Yeah, right.
As Scott and Charlie investigate the situation, when they're not looking, the man disappears, leaving behind the red suit. And a ladder leading up to the roof magically appears.
Sucking ass! Oh, god damn it!
When the boys get to the top, they're greeted by the reindeer.
Oof. Easy, Rudolph.
Charlie is more than thrilled to be sitting in what has to be Santa's sleigh. Scott, as you probably guessed, is less than thrilled.
Listen, Charlie, I'm not kidding. Let's go!
The reindeer take the boys to the next house, and after they land, we see Charlie and Comet guilt-trip Scott into playing Santa. After putting on the suit, Santa's sack begins to magically float up into the air, carrying Scott along with it. Followed by more Christmas magic as we see Scott morph into jelly and squeeze down the chimney. We then see a very funny montage of Scott delivering presents to all the children of the world.
Do you want this doll or not? Go back to sleep.
As the night comes to an end and the boys soar across the sunrise, Scott says it's time to go home. But the reindeer have a different idea of home, and they take the boys to the North Pole, where we see that Santa's workshop is in full swing to prepare for next year's Christmas.
Only 364 days till next Christmas.
We're then introduced to Bernard, the manager of the elf department. Bernard gives the snow globe to Charlie, and then he explains to Scott that when he put on the suit, he fell subject to the Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus. In putting on the suit and entering the sleigh, the wearer waives any and all rights to any previous identity, real or implied, and fully accepts the duties and responsibilities of Santa Claus in perpetuity until such time that wearer becomes unable to do so by either accident or design.
What does that mean?
It means you put on the suit, you're the big guy.
But skeptical Scott is convinced that this is all a dream, and he'll wake up soon enough. And when you know it, the next morning he wakes up in his very own bed. But he's still wearing the pajamas that the elves gave him.
Inconceivable.
And Charlie remembers everything that happened.
Inconceivable.
Is it possible for two people to have the same dream at the same time?
Have you ever had a dream that you could do?
To keep his sanity intact, Scott decides to gaslight his own son and pretend that the whole thing never happened.
I don't even wear pajamas. Normally I sleep naked. Buck naked. Ah!
Morning, Mr. McGloin.
But he's not able to ignore it for very long. Each day he wakes up a little heavier than the day he was before, and his facial hair is growing at an alarming rate.
I'm in big trouble.
Scott's list of Santa problems continues to grow. Laura and Neil think that Scott has become obsessed with Santa Claus and that he's using it to manipulate Charlie. And after a hearing with the judge, Scott's visitation rights are suspended and he's not allowed to see Charlie until after Christmas. But Scott says "F*** that," and he scoops up Charlie and the boys head to the North Pole. But Scott bringing Charlie results in a citywide manhunt where we see the police hunting for Santa Claus. And then we see two montages slapped together. One shows us Scott and the elves preparing for Christmas Eve, and the other shows the police questioning every Santa that they encounter. Scott is doing a much better job this year at playing Santa. But just as he's getting into the swing of things, Charlie suggests that they stop at his house so they can deliver Laura and Neil's presents, which is where Santa gets busted.
You officers really gave me a start. Merry Christmas, guys.
Not for you, fat boy. Fat boy?
The cops put Scott in the back of the cruiser, and then they just leave. They don't check the roof for Charlie, even after Scott tells them where he is.
Where's the boy?
He's in the sleigh.
And it's always bugged me that they don't just look up and see him. Humbug! Santa gets thrown in the slammer, and the elves heard the whole thing go down through his two-way radio Santa hat.
Santa, are you okay? Over.
Roger, roger. Bernard rings a bell, summoning the ELFS.
Effective Lorraine Flight Squad.
The super elves bust Scott out of jail.
How'd you do that?
Tinsel, not just for decoration.
And afterwards, the boys make their way back to Charlie's house, where Scott tells Charlie that he should stay home for the rest of the night so they can avoid getting into any more trouble. And Laura and Neil are finally able to see the magic in Scott's eyes, and they truly believe that he is jolly old Saint Nick.
Oh my God! Santa here? I know him. I know him.
And then Bernard randomly shows up, and he tells Charlie that if he ever wants to see his dad, all he has to do is shake up his magic snow globe. Scott says his goodbyes, and he takes off to deliver the rest of the presents. The movie ends with Charlie standing outside the house, shaking up the snow globe, shortly after Scott left.
You missed me already? I've been gone, what, 10 minutes? Give me a break, I was on my way to Cleveland.
Come on!
And that's it! That's Disney's The Santa Claus. And it's a fun holiday flick that the whole family can enjoy.
Family, 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 family.
Do I recommend it? I recommend this movie for people who celebrate Christmas.
Christmas!
And of course, Tim Allen fans. And like I said before, this movie has become a Christmas classic. A well-known holiday favorite that spawned a franchise that honestly, I don't really care for. This movie's great, but The Santa Claus 2 is kinda lame. In fact, it's so lame that I've never seen Santa Claus 3. And the show doesn't look very good either. This movie also showed us that Tim Allen could carry a film as the lead role. At the time, producers weren't sure if this well-known TV star could be a leading man on the big screen. But the roll of the dice ended up making them a lot of money, and it catapulted Tim Allen's career in the movie business.
To infinity and beyond!
What do you think of this movie? Is it on your list of favorites to watch every year, or is it a lump of coal? Post a comment below telling me your thoughts. And hey, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending some of your holiday time with me by watching this video. And if you like what you saw, make sure you like and subscribe for more. And maybe even consider sharing. Also check out my social media pages, where I post updates on this channel, and pretty much whatever I want. And thank you for spending your year with me. 2024 was my first year reviewing movies on YouTube. It's been a lot of fun, and I hope you're looking forward to more, because I still have over 500 tapes to review. Season's farewells, y'all!
A weenie whistle.
Bernard. Bernard, can we take a direct flight back to reality, or do we have to change planes in Denver?
Heigh-Ho, Heigh-Ho, it's home from Earthspeed. You'll always be my favorite, Rudolph. Not like that prick Comet. Where the hell are we? Hey, do you know how to tell the difference between snowmen and snow women?
No, how?
Snowballs.
Blimey, look who it is! No one actually showed up this year.
Please stay in a single file line. Present your gift to the grimace and then walk away. Do not look him in the eyes. I repeat, do not look him in the eyes.
Merry Christmas, Grimace! I love you!
Yeah, Christmas.